All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are going to crack a classic GCSE chemistry exam question wide open. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll see exactly how to think like an examiner and make sure you bag every single one of those marks.
So, let's kick things off with a situation you've probably been in. You're at a party, you're hungry. Do you grab a disposable paper plate or one of the reusable ceramic ones? Now, the obvious choice might not be the most environmentally sound one. To figure it out, we need to put our chemistry hats on.
So how do chemists actually figure this out? Well, they have this amazing tool called a life cycle assessment, or LCA for short. Think of it as telling the entire life story of a product, right from where its raw materials came from all the way to what happens when you throw it out. It's all about calculating the true environmental cost. And here's the best part. We're not just talking theory here. We're going to walk through an actual AQA exam question, question 5, using the official mark scheme. This is like getting a peek behind the curtain to see exactly what the examiners are looking for. So let's get into it. Okay, first up is part 5.1. This piece of the puzzle is the foundation for the whole question, really. It's testing if you know the basic fundamental stages of any life cycle assessment.
So, the question is pretty straightforward. It asks for just 2 stages. That's 2 marks up for grabs. A really quick win if you know your stuff. So, what are the official answers the mark scheme is looking for?
And here they are, straight from the source. You can see they cover the product's entire journey. You've got the beginning, getting the raw materials and then processing them. Then you've got the middle part of its life, the manufacturing and all the transportation involved. And finally, the end of its life, disposal or hopefully recycling. You could even mention things like cleaning for reusable stuff. You just need to pick any 2 of these and boom, 2 marks in the bag. Simple as that.
All right, 2 marks secured. Let's move on to the next bit, 5.2. Now this is the big one. This is where you have to apply what you know and actually make a judgment call. It's a 4-mark evaluation question, so let's dig in.
The question wants you to evaluate paper plates versus ceramic plates, using those LCA ideas we just talked about. Now that keyword, evaluate, that's a direct instruction. It means you can't just list a bunch of facts. You've got to weigh the pros and cons for both options. Let's break this down using the table. First up, resources. Paper comes from trees. They're renewable. So, point for paper. Ceramic, on the other hand, comes from clay, which is non-renewable. Okay, now manufacturing. Both use energy, but making ceramic, that needs a crazy amount of heat in a furnace, which is a big minus from an energy perspective. But here's where it gets really interesting, the use phase. Paper is single-use, which means more waste. Ceramic is reusable, but every time you wash it, that's more energy and more water down the drain. And finally, disposal. Paper can rot and produce methane and nasty greenhouse gas in landfills. Ceramic plates last a long time, but eventually they also end up as landfill waste. As you can see, it's not a simple case of one being good and the other being bad.
Now listen up, because this is the secret to getting those top marks. Just saying ceramic is better is not going to cut it. You have to make a final judgment and you have to explicitly back it up with your reasons. For example, you could say that ceramic plates are better, but only if they're used over and over again to make up for the high energy cost of making them in the first place. It's that kind of detailed, supported judgment that really makes an answer stand out.
Okay, we're on the home stretch now. Let's tackle the final part of question 5, which is 5.3. This one's a bit more straightforward. It steps back from the tricky evaluation stuff and just asks for a simple description of a process. And it's worth 2 marks.
After that complex evaluation, this question is a nice, direct one. How is a ceramic plate made? It's a pure knowledge check. Do you remember the basic steps for making ceramics? And you won't believe how simple the official answer is. For 2 marks, you just need 2 little steps. First, you take some wet clay and you shape it. Second, you heat it in a furnace. The mark scheme also says you can use words like kiln or fired. And that's it. 2 simple points for 2 very easy marks. So, let's just step back and wrap all this up. By breaking down just this one exam question, we've actually uncovered some really powerful ideas that, honestly, you can use way beyond the exam hall.
So what are the big things to remember? First, this whole idea of a life cycle assessment. It's a super powerful way of looking past the obvious. Second, lock in those key stages, materials, making it, using it, and getting rid of it. Third, whenever you see that word evaluate, your brain should immediately think trade-offs and pros and cons. It's not about one right answer. It's about building a balanced argument. And finally, just remember that chemistry is literally all around us, even in how a simple plate is made.
So, I'll leave you with a little challenge. The next time you pick up your phone or put on your favorite t-shirt, just for a second, think about its hidden story. What was its life cycle? Asking that question, well, that's the first step to thinking like a real chemist.